Welcome everyone. I'm so excited. Welcome Danielle. We are here in the flesh, guys. This is the coolest Art Queen session yet, and I'm so grateful that Danielle's here in Philadelphia.
And this is our very first time meeting in person.
Yes, and it feels very natural, and she is even better in person than online, which is, I don't even know how that's possible. So welcome everyone. We're so excited. Welcome everyone who's coming in. So we're going to have a casual chat all about writing books, but we can also talk about anything else you want Danielle to share today. She has been on tour for her amazing book, if you want to share. She's written so many. This is which
number 7.
So this is number 7, and she's been in New York. Where else have you been?
LA, Palm Springs, Portland, Vancouver, New York, now Philly. And I've got Santa Fe and San Francisco left to go.
Amazing. So she's doing this incredible book tour, and she's sharing with kids, with adults. You are teaching collage classes. You are talking about creativity with children. So today what I want to talk about is for people who want to share their wisdom or creativity or knowledge with the world through the book writing process, which I know you're very familiar with now.
As are you.
Thank you. That's only our second one. We'll catch up with you. But I want to just ask, this is how I've discovered you actually. So the power of books is incredible because this is we can create this business card that lives on forever in a way, but also just share our passion, what we care about. And I discovered you through The Creative Block, which I love that book. Tell me how you got started with writing.
It was very weird. Lots of people asked me for my advice about how to get started, but my way in was very weird. So it started because of my blog. So I'd been writing Jill's Curator. I started in 2009. I'd been writing it for a couple of years. And what was really important and what led to the book was the fact that I wrote every day consistently in the same voice. So there's lots of art blogs out there that wrote in a very fancy way at the time. And I just wrote like I talk. So that was what the difference was. And then I was at a conference and an editor from Chronicle came up and said, "Aren't you the Jill's Curator?" I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes." And she said, "Have you ever thought about writing a book?" And I said, "Okay." And it was on my dream bucket list, but it just never seemed like a thing that would happen. And so I was going to San Francisco a few weeks later, and she said, "Do you want to bring a pitch?" And I said, "Of course, I would love to bring a pitch." And then I left there and Googled how to write a book pitch because I had no idea.
I don't want to force it, and I don't want to share nonsense. I don't want to share fluff. I only want to share something real.
Yeah.
So you have an amazing podcast that did super well, and you continue to give yourself seasons off, or you pivot or you change. Can you talk about what gets you excited to create content and how to not get caught in that once again comparison of they produce an episode every day?
Yeah. Well, I think not to promote the book.
Yeah, but promote the book. Everyone who has any little ones in your life, or even if your inner child needs to read this, your inner child needs this.
So the whole point is art and joy, best friends forever, right? And so what I was finding with my podcast was that I'd lost the joy. It was so much scheduling, so much editing, so much work. And I just honestly wanted to be in my studio making collages. And I was it was taking about 24 hours a week. And that's a lot, right? Because I also have a family and a kid, and I want to spend time with them. Yeah. And I like sleep as well.
Yeah.
And so all the joy had gone out of it, but I felt this really big responsibility to my listeners to keep going. But I was so burnt out and just kind of done. And it was making me sad. I cried a lot about it because I was I don't want to do this. And then my husband's like, "Well, then why are you doing it?" So I just had to get to a point where I was "I'm sorry, you guys. I can't do it." And so I've started it up again a little bit as a video podcast now. And my plan was going to be to do it every 2 weeks. And it's just meh.
Yeah.
I've got 2 new ideas for new collage series. And it's honestly, if I have spare time, I want to be in my studio working on that stuff. But I'm not going to be it has to be every 2 weeks. It's when Molly is available. She just had knee surgery, so she's not available. When Molly is available, I'll do the next episode. And people can get it in drips and drabs. And if they don't like getting their content that way, they can go listen to another podcast.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to feel that responsibility because life's too short to feel like that.
Thank you for sharing that. Such a great permission slip. And actually, one of my mentors, she goes by Champagne Diet Cara. She also only releases an episode when she really has something to say.
Yeah.
And at first I was like a little even triggered by it. I'm like, wait, you're this leader. Like, why aren't you producing content? And she's like, no, like, I'm not going to fake it. I'm not going to just do it to go through the motions. And I think that's actually really empowering. You can still have a platform. You can still have a blog, a podcast, whatever. You don't have to be a slave to it. That the point of us sharing is to connect with each other. And if we are forcing ourselves to do stuff we hate, which is, I just made a reel about this too, because I'm like, stop doing stuff you hate, because you're going to burn yourself out. Your art's going to suffer. Your family life is going to suffer. Everything is going to start falling apart. But when you truly come in with joy and excitement, people will listen too. They feel that and they know. So thank you for sharing. That's so important. And that's the other thing I want everyone, because I know some of you have podcasts and blogs and things, and here's your permission slip to just be genuine with it for yourself, for your own mental health too. If you don't have to do it every single day or week or whatever. You
guys are all artists. Just think of these things as a project for you first. And then, if you can impact one person, and maybe that person is your kid, maybe that person is your mom that you want to give the book to, or whatever it is, just do it because you have to get it out of your body and your brain. And if it's meant to live on, it will. And if it doesn't, you'll be so proud that you actually made it and
I
saw
never
it to
regret
fruition.
It. Have you ever regretted anything you made, even if it didn't go anywhere?
No, not at all. Because I like with the ceramic collage work.